All right, so are you ready to like level up your life? Because today we're diving deep into James Allen's Out from the Heart.
Yeah.
This book is seriously like a blueprint for building a better you, but like from the inside out, you know?
Yeah.
And let me tell you, Allen does not mess around. He's basically saying like, you think, self-improvement, think again.
It is fascinating how he emphasizes this idea that achieving lasting change requires a much more in-depth approach than just surface-level positive thinking.
Totally. It's about like getting your mind right.
It's about aligning your inner and outer worlds through a conscious reshaping of your habits and deeply held beliefs.
It's deep. Okay, so Allen says, as a man thinketh in his heart. So is he? What's he getting at with that?
He's drawing a powerful analogy between our thoughts and seeds and our lives and the gardens they grow in.
Okay, I like that. So we're talking about like planting seeds.
Precisely. Cultivating the right thoughts is essential if we want to harvest a fulfilling and meaningful life.
Right, because you know what you plant is what you get.
Exactly.
So no pressure, right?
It can feel that way, can it? But Allen provides a sort of 10-step program, but it's not your typical self-help list.
So where do we begin?
It's more like he's giving us the tools and knowledge to become like master gardeners of our minds.
Okay, I like that. So it's not about those quick fixes or shortcuts. It's about putting in the real work.
Exactly. And that work starts with what he calls the vices of the body. Surprisingly practical stuff, actually.
Like what?
Things like overcoming laziness, being mindful of what we eat, even avoiding eating in bed, believe it or not.
Really? No more midnight snacks?
Yeah,
He's saying that actually impacts our thoughts.
absolutely. These seemingly small actions all tie into mental discipline, creating the optimal conditions for clear and focused thinking.
Interesting.
And it gets even more intriguing when he delves into the power of our words.
Oh yeah, that's a whole other level.
Right.
Right, because words have power.
He dedicates several steps to purifying our speech. Avoiding slander and gossip is a given, but he even calls out idle chatter.
Really? Wow.
It's like he's saying, look, if you can't control your words, you can't control your mind.
Whoa, that's a game changer.
It really is. And by mastering these seemingly small actions, we begin to rewire our brains, paving the way for deeper transformation.
Okay, so less scrolling on social media, more focus on like the fundamentals.
Precisely.
It's like leveling up in a video game, but for real life.
Exactly. And just like those games, each level unlocks new challenges and new rewards.
So what's the next level?
For Allen, that next level involves tackling virtues like duty, integrity, and even forgiveness.
Okay, now this is where it gets really profound. It's like he's saying that by mastering those first steps, controlling our actions, our words, we're actually setting the stage for something much bigger. Like we're clearing out the mental clutter to make space for real lasting change.
And that's where things get really interesting. He says that these virtues, duty, honesty, forgiveness, they're not just about like being a good person, right? They're actually like pathways to knowledge.
Okay, now you've got to explain this one. How does that work? What does that even mean? Is he saying like the more virtuous we are, the like smarter we get?
It's a little more nuanced than that. He believes that by actually living these virtues, we start to gain a much deeper understanding of truth itself. Think about it. When we're constantly bogged down by negativity or resentment, selfishness, how clearly can we really see the world around us? You know?
Yeah, that's a good point. It's like all those emotions, they're like static on a radio signal, just distorting everything.
Exactly. And as we cultivate the opposite, like love, compassion, integrity, we start to clear away that static.
I like that.
And when we clear away that static, we start to see things more clearly, make wiser choices, and even access like these deeper levels of understanding.
So it's like these virtues they're less about being good and more about being like tools for living.
Yes.
Like tools for navigating life with more wisdom and clarity.
Precisely. And that clarity, that deeper understanding of truth, that's what he ultimately equates with enlightenment. And it's not some mystical state separate from everyday life, but rather like a natural outcome of living in alignment with these universal principles.
Okay, so we're talking about a fundamental shift in perspective here. It's not just about, feeling good, but about actually perceiving reality more accurately, more truthfully. But how do we actually make that shift? How do we go from being like totally tangled up in negativity to embodying these virtues on a daily basis?
Well, remember those lists of positive and negative mental states that he talks about?
Yeah.
That's where the rubber meets the road. He doesn't just see these as like wishful thinking. These are forces, real forces that actually shape our reality.
Yeah, he's very specific about like the consequences of both. right? He lists, what, 10 negative states and links each of them to very real suffering in our lives.
Exactly. And on the flip side, he lists 10 positive states and links them to equally real benefits in our lives. Joy, peace, fulfillment, you name it.
So it's like he's giving us this incredible map showing us the direct route to both happiness and misery.
Yes.
And it all comes down to which mental states we're choosing to cultivate.
And that's where discipline comes in, right? Not discipline in a restrictive sense, but discipline as a tool for mastering our own minds. You know,
Okay.
it's about actively choosing those positive states, even when it's challenging.
Because let's be real, it's so easy to get swept away in all that negativity.
Oh,
It
absolutely.
takes real effort to consciously choose that path of love and kindness, especially when life throws those curveballs.
Absolutely. And that's why he stresses the importance of daily practice. He encourages starting each day with meditation, fortifying our minds against those negative tendencies before they even have a chance to take root.
Like putting on armor before heading into battle.
Yes, exactly.
And we all know those battles are coming, those moments when it's so tempting to just give in to anger, jealousy, fear.
Exactly. And in those moments, we need to be ready. We
Yeah.
need to have trained our minds to choose differently.
It's like training for a marathon. You don't just show up and run
See,
26 miles.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that training, as Alan emphasizes, requires persistence.
Yeah.
He says even if we fail 100 times, even 1,000 times, we should never give up.
Because it's about progress, not perfection.
Yes.
It's about recognizing that we have the power to choose in each and every moment and to keep choosing that path of growth,
Yeah.
even when we stumble.
Exactly. It's like when you're first learning how to ride a bike.
Yeah.
You're going to fall. You might even like skin your knees a couple times, but eventually you find that balance.
Yeah.
And then you're off. You're riding with this like newfound freedom and confidence.
I love that analogy. So we're not talking about becoming like some kind of saint overnight.
Yeah.
This is a process, a journey of self-mastery. But if we can stick with it, Alan seems to think that we can accomplish something pretty incredible.
Yeah, and you know, he even goes as far as to say the will to be kind is a greater force than the will to be harmful.
Wow, that's a pretty bold statement.
It is a bold statement.
But it speaks to like the incredible power of those positive mental
know.
states, right?
Absolutely. And remember, he connects those virtues, kindness, integrity, selflessness, directly to very real, tangible benefits that we experience in our lives.
Yeah.
It's not just about feeling good. It's about experiencing greater peace, joy, and fulfillment in every single aspect of our lives.
So it's not just about thinking those happy thoughts. It's about really embodying them in our actions, our relationships, our work, like everything we do.
Exactly. And that's what I think makes Out from the Heart so incredibly powerful and resonant.
Totally.
He doesn't just tell us what to think. He shows us how those thoughts can actually translate into real-world change.
Yeah, he gives you the tools.
Exactly. He reminds us that we are not simply passive observers in our own lives. We are active creators of our experience.
It's a lot to take in, but it's also incredibly empowering
Right.
to think that we actually have the capacity within us to create a more beautiful, more fulfilling life, not only for ourselves, but also for everyone around us.
Exactly. And that's that ripple effect that he talks about.
It's amazing.
As we cultivate these virtues within ourselves, they naturally extend outwards, influencing our interactions, our relationships.
Yeah, it's like the paying it forward kind of thing.
Exactly. And ultimately influencing the very fabric of society.
It's a beautiful vision. And it all starts with that single powerful choice.
What's that?
The choice to master our own minds, to cultivate those seeds of kindness, integrity, and love, and to watch them blossom into a reality that is brighter, not just for ourselves, but for the whole world.
It's a beautiful message. And I think a good place to leave it for today.
Absolutely. So as you continue to explore Out from the Heart, I want to leave you with this question. What kind of garden are you cultivating in your own mind?
Mm-hmm.
And what kind of world do you want to help create? Because as Alan so powerfully reminds us, it all starts from within. Until next time, keep diving deep.